Hi guys, it's me again, and I'm here on my channel. That feels nice. Alright, so like in the last video, if you watched that last video, I said I was going to teach you guys how to set actionable goals for the year, and I was going to give you a method in which you could use to set these goals. And if you've not watched that video, if you've not watched that video, please go back and watch it. I can't explain why I'm still training, but it's fine. We'll get over it. So today we're going to be talking about the SMART technique, and I know a lot of you are already conversant with it, but for the purpose of those of us who are not so conversant with this technique of setting goals, the SMART technique is a technique that gives you 5 steps to consider when you're trying to set a goal, and then each of those alphabets stands for a particular word. S stands for specific. Are your goals specific? Don't sit down and make a very vague goal. Don't say I want to make 1 million naira in 1 week. How? Or that's even more precise. Some of us just say I want to make a lot of money. But that's big. You've not added an amount to it. You've not penned down a particular amount to it. So that's not a specific goal. So these 5 steps include: first of all, you have to check if your goal is specific. How specific is it? The next one is measurable. Are your goals measurable? Do you have qualities you can use to say, okay, at this point in time, this goal has been met? Can I measure it? Can I tell how far I've come? That's measurability. The next thing is attainable. Is this attainable? Is this attainable? And closely followed by it is realistic. Is it realistic? Is it something you can do? I know we believe in God is a miracle worker, God is the Almighty God, God is the ultimate provider. I live a life of grace, and what God cannot do does not exist. But brothers in Christ and outside Christ, you would agree with me that if you're not setting realistic goals, you're wasting your time. You're building skyscrapers in thin air, and that doesn't make any sense. And the last factor is time. How timely is your goal? Is it timely? Can you achieve it within a particular period of time? Can you set a particular amount of time in which within that period or within that course of time you would have been able to achieve these goals that you want to achieve? So these are the 5 steps you would have to check when you're trying to set a goal. And I would want to break down these steps for all of us. And so we'll start with the first one, which is specific. Are your goals specific? How do you even know your goal is specific? Okay, you can tell the goal is specific by being able to say accurately that this is what you want to achieve. Let me give you an instance. I want to get a degree. I want to go back to school. So if I write I want to go back to school, that's a good goal, but it's not specific. I want to go back to school. The question is how, why, what am I going to be studying? So when I say set a specific goal, it has to be I want to go back to school to get a degree in so and so course, or like I want to get a degree in biochemistry. Now that is a specific goal. You know that when you're applying forms, when you're filling forms and you want to get a degree, you know that okay, this is what you're going to. But if you say I want to go to school, I want to go to school is vague. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you want to go to school to do what we don't even know. So now that's a very specific goal. Another specific goal could be, let's say I no longer I want to eat healthy. I want to eat healthy is a very good goal. Don't get me don't mistake me, but it's a very good goal. I want to eat healthy is a good goal, but have you asked yourself, how do you want to eat healthy? What do you even mean by eating healthy? Because sometimes some of us don't even understand what it means by eating healthy. Now, a more realistic or a more specific goal is going to be, I'll eat vegetables 5 times a week. Now, that is a very specific goal. You do that okay every day, every week, 5 times out of the 7 days you have in a week, you're going to be eating vegetables, leafy vegetables, or fruits, and all of that. Now that's more specific rather than the vague, I want to eat healthy. Because you want to eat healthy, how do you want to achieve that? You don't know. So it tackles the how. The specificity tackles the how you want to achieve these goals, or what it is you expect from these goals, or what your aim is for getting this, for even setting that goal in the first place. And then the next thing is measurable. Are your goals measurable? Can we measure it? Can we quantify it? Now, like going back to the first example I gave of getting a degree in biochemistry, like I said, that was a very specific goal. But if you look at it, you also see that it's measurable. It's measurable because You all know that a degree takes 4 to 5 years or more, depending on what course it is, but it's miserable because you know that in 4 years' time, you should have finished. For instance, I say I want to get a degree in biochemistry and then I apply to the university this year. I expect that by 2020, but I expect that by 2026, I should have graduated. Now that's a measurable goal. So I know that okay, for the next 4 years of my life, this is what I'm working on. That is measurability. Now, the next thing is attainable. Is it achievable? Definitely. You have to be able to set goals that you can achieve. So what kind of goal are you setting that you can achieve? You now have to factor in the fact that okay, yes, I want to make money, I want to make, for instance, I see a lot of people say I want to make 10 million naira, 10 billion naira in 1 year. Mind you, this person's income is less than 100k per month. So what miracle do you want to perform to make 10 billion naira in 1 year? It's unattainable, because I don't know any business you would run or create with say 100k, 200k and get 10 billion naira in 1 year, unless of course manna falls from heaven. But we're not about manna falling from heaven today, but it just doesn't make any sense. It is not attainable. But you see a lot of times people just set these goals and begin to chase shadows because you don't even have the systems to even make 10 billion naira. So for someone who is a low income earner who earns less than 100k, an attainable goal would be I want to be able to save 1 million naira by the end of the year. Even that can even be unattainable depending on lifestyle, but let's just assume it is attainable for the concept of this video. Or let's break it down to say 500k. Let's be able to save 500k in a year. Now this is a very, very achievable. You know that okay, every month this is how I'm going to set down my salary, this is how much, or this is how many percent I'm taking out from my salary to be able to meet up to this goal. Now that is an attainable goal. But when you say you're going to make 10 billion naira and less than 100k, how, from where to be, how do you want to get it? Do you want to be a magician? Even magicians cannot perform this kind of miracle. Like I used to say, what God cannot do does not exist. Yes, I ever helped those who help themselves, but obviously you would agree with me that just some things they even got the able to sit down and laugh because we be like, this is my child, what is your problem? The next thing is realistic. That's for the R stands for realistic. How realistic is your goal? It takes us back to the previous points I've been making. If you're setting a goal and it looks like it's not realistic, then it is not realistic. For instance, let's say I am not a salary earner, I do not work for money, and then I say I want to buy a car by the ending of the year. How do I want to achieve that? Via legitimate means. It is next to impossible that I'm going to be able to buy a car by the end of the year. So if I now say I'm going to buy a car, that's an unrealistic goal because it's not going to happen. By any form of magic whatsoever, it's not going to happen. Another reason you would have to set a goal that is realistic is because it helps you stay focused. It helps you know that okay, this is achievable within this particular period. This is something that I can achieve. This is something I can work on. But when you're all about setting unrealistic goals, you're just working on your dopamine. You're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be able to achieve anything, and it would literally seem like you're moving in circles or you're running around. The next thing is timely. How timely are these goals? Are they timely enough? Do you have a goal that spans 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? I do not see any reason why you should be setting goals that will take you 50 years to achieve. I'm sorry. I understand that there are long-term goals, there are short-term goals, but you should be able to put a reasonable time frame to these goals that you want to achieve, because that's actually what decides if you're going to achieve them or not. Because if it takes so long, you might give up. And that's the truth. 1 year, 1 month, 2 months, there's actually no particular time span for your goals, truth be told. But you should try as much as you can to make sure that these goals are timely, that you should be able to, that you'll be able to achieve these goals within a particular time frame. These are your own deductions. Yes, I know that life happens. I know that you can plan this stuff and it doesn't go the way you've planned it, but plan regardless. You have to learn how to plan and set these goals to be very, very timely. Like going back to the school stuff, like I said, that was a very timely goal because you know that okay, after 4 years you're done. If you say you're going to be eating healthy, you want to be eating vegetables, you know that okay, this is something you were doing over a long period of time. You don't want to stop it. So now that's, do you understand? Good. So moving from that, I think, or I do know that you've been able to understand what it means to set very, very smart goals. You now know how to set an actionable goal for yourself. So you need to be able to break down these goals. It has to pass these 5 steps. So if you're setting any goal and you do not pass it through these 5 steps, see, I'm not saying you're going to be wrong, but the chances of you being wrong is going to be there. So you need to factor in these 5 steps whenever you want to set a goal. Whatever goal it is, pass it through the steps to know if it is actually realistic, is it attainable, is it timely, is it specific. So you have to be able to check all of these things to be able to know that, okay, this goal is actually worthy of me writing it down, worthy of me trying to achieve it. And beyond that, this is like an extra segment from this video because I'm done teaching you guys how to use the SMART technique. I also want you to understand that why you set some of these goals, because I am a Christian and a dedicated one at that, there's always a place for prayer. Pray. When you set these goals, pray about it. Ask God to help you. Ask Him to give you guidance. Ask Him to help you stay committed, because sometimes it be hard. It is hard. Sometimes it can be very, very hard for you to be able to do some of these things because a whole lot of things are happening. Life is happening. People are making you feel less of yourself and all of that. But it's all good and fine. That's why you have someone in heaven who you can talk to. You need to be able to sit down and be like, okay, God, these are the goals that I've set. How do I achieve them? How do I move from here? God, please send me help. And I like, set these goals, do your part, then you pray for God to do His own part. But the problem is this: some of you just sit down and wait for God to do everything. You wait for God to bring manna, wait for Him to provide manna. Even if you're to put the manna inside your plate for you to eat, now how about you need to be able to do some things for yourself too. And at this junction, I do think that we've come to the end of this video, and I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Feel free to like and subscribe and share this video to your friends, your family, your social media and all of that. I am more than elated to see you, and it's Ebele Chukwu again, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye guys.